What happens when calm facts crush chaotic rhetoric? Watch how Obama dismantled Trump without ever raising his voice. It didn't begin with fireworks. It began with a question. On live television, in front of millions of Americans, Barack Obama leaned forward in his chair. His body language was relaxed, but his eyes carried weight. The host asked about leadership in today's climate, a question simple enough to dodge with polished rhetoric. But Obama didn't dodge. He didn't generalize. He went straight to the heart of it. When leaders make promises to the American people, he began, his voice calm and steady, their actions should match their words. And when they don't, it needs to be called out. It was a line sharpened not by volume, but by precision. The studio fell into a quiet tension, the kind of silence where people instinctively lean closer to their screens. Obama didn't raise his tone. He didn't insult. Instead, he laid out examples, one by one, like a lawyer building a case. A failed contract in Arizona. A Nevada project where workers claimed they were never paid. Promises from Trump on the campaign trail compared directly with contradictions from his presidency. Each fact was stamped with dates, records, and quotes. Nothing speculative. Nothing exaggerated. Just reality, stacked brick by brick until it became undeniable. The host shifted in his seat, clearly aware something was unfolding. So, he pressed, "You're saying these contradictions are deliberate?" Obama didn't smile. He didn't flinch. "I'm saying the American people deserve honesty. Leadership isn't about what you say on stage, it's about whether your record matches your words. And in this case, the record tells a very different story." That was the spark. Not a thunderclap. Not a shouting match. Just a single sentence that sliced through the noise. Within minutes, social media exploded. Clips flooded Twitter with captions like, "Obama just dismantled Trump without even raising his voice." On TikTok, loops of Obama leaning forward, calm, collected, were replayed millions of times. By the end of the broadcast, #Obama exposes Trump was trending nationwide. For viewers at home, it was more than just a soundbite. It was a contrast between calm evidence and chaotic rhetoric, between steady hands and restless fists. And even before Trump himself could respond, the country already sensed something had shifted. Because sometimes, history doesn't turn on shouting. Sometimes, it turns on a voice that refuses to rise. The television screens told two very different stories. Two Americas unfolding side by side. On one side, Barack Obama sat comfortably in a chair, his posture relaxed, his tone measured. He spoke like a teacher walking his students through a lesson. Each word deliberate, each pause intentional. There was no need for theatrics. The facts carried their own gravity. On the other side, Donald Trump's reaction streamed live from his phone. At first, sitting at Mar-a-Lago, he laughed it off. "Same old Obama," he muttered. But as the clips replayed across networks and the hashtags trended, the laughter disappeared. His thumbs began to hammer out furious posts, fake news. Obama is lying again. Disgraceful interview. The networks saw the contrast instantly. CNN ran a split screen, Obama calm, steady, almost surgical with his facts, Trump red-faced, typing in all caps, ranting online. MSNBC framed it as leadership versus meltdown. Even Fox News, while defending Trump, couldn't resist replaying the footage that fueled the contrast. In living rooms across America, the effect was jarring. Parents whispered about it over dinner. Students replayed the clips in college dorms, shaking their heads at the difference. In diners and coffee shops, people stared at the side-by-side images, the professor-like calm of one man against the unfiltered rage of the other. It wasn't just political anymore. It was cultural. It was visual. Two styles. Two energies. Two Americas. And in that moment, Americans were forced to ask themselves a quiet but profound question. Which image looked more like leadership? By the next morning, the clash wasn't confined to one interview. It had become a storm sweeping through every media outlet in America. On Fox News, Sean Hannity worked overtime to defend Trump. He replayed clips of Obama's interview with a dismissive smirk. "Same guy who gave us 8 years of weakness," Hannity scoffed. "Now he wants to lecture President Trump? Please." He mocked Obama's note cards, calling him predictable. But even as Hannity tried to downplay it, the network couldn't resist showing the footage again and again. And every time Obama's calm face appeared next to Trump's angry posts, the contrast deepened, whether they intended it or not. Over at MSNBC, the tone was different. Panels of analysts dissected every frame. Body language experts explained how Obama's relaxed posture communicated control, while Trump's erratic gestures showed defensiveness. Communication specialists broke down their vocal tones, Obama's steady cadence versus Trump's escalating pitch. Even sports commentators, invited as cultural voices, compared it to a one-sided boxing match. One fighter throwing wild punches, the other standing cool, waiting for the right moment. On CNN, a Republican strategist reluctantly admitted, "Look, this is rough." Obama laid out facts without theatrics. Trump responded with anger. That's not how you win the middle ground. His Democratic counterpart leaned in and added, Obama doesn't even have to run again. He's already making his point, just by showing the difference between leadership and reaction. And then came late-night television. Stephen Colbert opened The Late Show with a joke. Obama gave a calm interview. Trump gave us an audition for Real Housewives of Mar-a-Lago. The audience roared. On Jimmy Kimmel Live, an edited skit ran, Obama calmly sipping tea while Trump screamed in the background, his words bleeped out like a reality show meltdown. Each laugh, each joke, each replay didn't just entertain, it hammered home the image of calm versus chaos. Obama's interview wasn't just news anymore. It had become entertainment, comedy, analysis, and culture all at once. By Friday, it was everywhere, memes on Instagram, TikToks looping the quiet moment Obama leaned forward, political cartoons in newspapers showing Trump red-faced beside Obama's calm smile. The media had turned one interview into a national spectacle. And in the whirlwind of coverage, the line between politics and personality blurred. Because this wasn't just about policies anymore. It was about perception. And perception, once it spreads, is almost impossible to reverse. Continues with the same structure and flow, fully polished, until the closing line happy smiley. By the time the headlines faded, one truth remained: Obama hadn't just won an exchange. He'd reminded America of something timeless. Real strength is steady, not loud. The nation now stood at a crossroads, staring at two paths, one of constant outrage, the other of calm conviction. Which road America chooses will shape not just the next election, but its future identity.